Hello and welcome to Terraria Completionism Part 8. We are heading up further east into the wildlands. There's no roads headed here because none of these intermediate eras are civilized. So we're coming up on a Dynasty Wood village, a oriental village, so to speak. This is effectively showcasing my Dynasty Wood build. Obviously it's Japanese themed. There's Japanese maple trees, and you can see there's the Chinese lanterns, and the leaves are painted pink, and I use purple torches, not pink torches, for the actual coloring, although they look pretty much the same. So we're just heading up here. Now, a lot of the Japanese themed builds that people make, they make the trees very big, so it looks really good for a screenshot, but it doesn't look sort of livable. The idea with these trees is that they look small enough that they look good as you're walking through them with your character, not just for screenshot effect. So we're coming up here. I have these gravestones all over the place that have these quotes, and I'm curious as if anyone knows where these phrases are from or who said them. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. The other thing with the lighting here is this whole area looks very good at night, and since it's evening time, you might see how it looks at night. And it looks pretty nice during the day. This is essentially a bathhouse right here. There's a Dynasty Wood bathtub in there. It's meant for bathing, relaxing. That's Icar fire. This is meant to be the back of a building that we're walking through with sort of like a stone garden near it. This is sand painted gray. It's very reminiscent of things you might see in like some Japanese spa or temple or at least things that you might. At least things that have that sort of connotation. This is meant to be sort of a rocky pool area. It's meant to be sort of very green and integrated with the environment and very sort of agrarian. It's not agrarian, but living. Very sort of peaceful and balanced. I will also admit this entire build is based off of a photo that I found online when I was making my Dynasty Wood build. I was wondering how to do it, and I found an amazing screenshot of something somebody made. I have obviously changed it and made it more elaborate and added things that I liked, but it's essentially, it has a lot of the same structure. Like this building is from that picture. I'll have it linked down below. This is meant to be a Japanese maple tree, but without any leaves, so you just have Dynasty Wood candles up there. This is meant to be like a little pond. You see the Japanese maple leaves falling down. They're floating on top of the water. You know, sort of like a short, relaxing area. Everything has its beauty, but not everyone sees it. You know, you could sit down, you know, have some tea near the pond. It's like someone's very elaborate house. You know, a very rich person's mansion area lot. Another massive Japanese maple tree. I meant it looks really good at night. This is like the sort of the big house that I have here. I put the stylist here because she's supposed to be Asian. There's, you know, it uses a lot of palm wood and not so much Dynasty Wood wall, although there is Dynasty Wood wall here, and it's painted like white and green to have this sort of cool checkered effect, and same thing down here, but it's teal. This is meant to be a bathroom. This is like a kitchen. You got some living fire block, I forget what kind, but it's like painted pink or something. You got kitchenwares and stuff. You got a storage area in here. Obviously, you got a lot of pots and with plants and living things, and a butterfly. And again, it's meant to be very sort of living and futuresque, you know, almost futuresque. Somebody told me once, you know, it's what you imagine sort of sustainable, sort of nature integrated life would look like. And here you have a house. There's some beds in here. There's some storage area with bookcases, some books, money, fish, etc. And up above here we have a massive Japanese maple tree, which looks really good at nighttime. It's actually why I made it this late. So it's enormous. I'm sort of a sucker for giant trees, and they're sort of all over the place in this Terraria thing. I love like the way this, like the branches work here as well. Yeah, the deal with like making large trees to make them look really good. Anyway, our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. That's right. Who said these things? More Japanese maple trees, and we're coming down here on a shrine. So this area I literally ripped off from that other the photo that I found, it is really, really good. Like, the way it has the perfect connotation to it. The way that the guy, like, painting the Dynasty Wood red and painting the walls red, I mean, it looks exactly like, and then the roof shingles red, it looks exactly like what you'd want it to look like. Very nice. And there's some money there. I think those are like shrine donations or something. Anyway, so let's go over here. This area is actually like, this was a naturally formed, one of these naturally formed like cavern areas above ground where you have some like, you have some dirt blocks above ground and this whole like vine-filled tunnel underneath. And I just filled it with like, you know, I filled it with these Asian-themed bridges and this little cavern with a waterfall and put some Dynasty Wood candles and stuff. Made it look really nice. Also added this Hallow statue for some reason. Doesn't really work, but anyway. Silence is a true friend who never betrays. Oh, and wherever you go, go with all your heart. That is right. And there's some sofas here as well. And that's essentially it. We're coming up on the end here. Again, they look really nice at nighttime. That's the main idea. So there's a lot of like really good Dynasty Wood builds. I think the Oriental builds is like one of the cooler things you can build in Terraria. And I certainly like the one I did. I think for above ground on a flat area, what I have is pretty damn good. But it's also really good if you could sort of match them with sort of like natural areas like on a mountain or in some sort of hilly mountainous area. Anyway, we're headed down here into a cavern, which I dub the Jade Cavern. There's a lot of purple torches abound. It's going through a shrine here. Wow. A whole bunch of mushrooms. You notice all the water is teal. That's because it's meant to look sort of like the whole naturalistic kind of pure teal water that you might imagine to be in some, you know, some mystical Japanese shrine where somebody went to learn kung fu or something. I know it's Chinese, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, these are like just waterfall walls painted teal. That was the idea here. I had a whole bunch of Dynasty Wood platforms and candles and purple torches, and this path right here actually leads us back up. It leads us back up to right this area between these two trees where we went down earlier. So that's why I say it looks good in like a mountainous area. You notice there's a lot of emeralds on the walls. Those are actually supposed to be jade stones because it's the Jade Cavern. Because jade stones are kind of green, so that's why I just put emerald up. And again, the water is just green because of the jade color. And there's mushrooms as well. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. It's meant to be this like, I covered the whole thing with like stone blocks. It's meant to be this like really sort of unique kind of naturally formed cavern, and the village was built on top of it. So this is just a subway station. This is the Jade Cavern subway station. It's made of Titan stone block. There's not much to it. I mean, I essentially built this so that there'd be sort of a quick way to the Oriental build area, because it doesn't have any. There's no other way to quick travel to it other than by going to this station and going up. And anyway, that's basically it. And the next section is we're gonna go to the Green Dungeon. So yeah, thank you and cheers.